Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer. Today, I'm out here on, this is called the South Side. Actually, I'm down here in the old industrial district. Where I'm physically at is one of the river park parking areas that I literally just discovered scouting the area. Because I was trying to figure out where I could literally park my truck and didn't have to pay a parking fee. What I've come out here today for, as you can see the interstate flowing beautifully behind me. I'm gonna do some photography with the Z6 and this new 85mm 1.8 I bought. And I wanna do basically environmental photos or street photos. I'm gonna work my way down this river park and see where it takes me. I've never actually wandered down this section of the path. All the river park is a sidewalk. I've come out to basically the southern terminus of it. I'll give you an idea. This is what we're looking at. See? And you see the runner across the other side of the fence? It crosses the tracks down there and it goes down and underneath that interstate you see. But this is like an access point, this parking area you see here. And this gives us easy access to the river park. You know, it's right here at the end of the old US pipe factory that's now been apparently repurposed by a tree trimming company. And then across the river is the old foundry system for US Pipe and Wheeling Foundry, I believe. But all of that's shut down and most of it's been gutted, and it's just kind of, I think it's owned by the city of Chattanooga at this point. But there's a company over here, a crane rental company is right over there and things like that. But at this point in the game, this is all basically waiting for some kind of renovation. And what I want to do is I want to walk down this Riverwalk and explore it. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to shoot some photos and see how this 85 performs in the daytime. And now, I like to shoot it wide open. I just like the effect that the 85 at 1.8 has. But I'll probably end up stopping it down because there'll be so much light, I can't choke the camera off enough. And I don't have a variable ND or anything on it today, so probably be shooting at f4, f5. I've got a few things I want to go over that will improve your shooting experience with the Z6 and probably with any camera. But as we do this photo walk, I want to go through that list of items with you guys. So let's get started, come on. One of the things that makes your experience using your camera much better is to learn the controls of the camera. If you don't spend enough time using your equipment and you just get it out for special occasions and things like that, you'll end up struggling with the control functionality of the machine, and you'll never really learn to tap into the resources that are available to you with your machine. The cameras of today are packed with so much technology that you have to spend a little time with them. If you don't, you're, oh boy, a jake brake. See, I'm walking down the path and it's taking us straight to the interstate. So, see, there's the ye old interstate. If you don't spend some time learning the functionality of the camera and all the things it can do, you basically are wasting your money. It's shocking to me how many people will buy a brand new camera, set the controls to automatic, and just take pictures with it and expect the pictures to come out like a pro shot them. You know, you're thinking Jeff Cable Photography is shooting your photos because you've bought an expensive camera and you've left it in the little green automatic mode. It don't work that way. And when you get to places like this, of course, you want to photograph this art. This is actually apparently a paid art piece because the artist signed it. It's not street graffiti. Now those behind it are probably street graffiti since there's a 7 or 8 foot chain link fence in the way. But this one I believe is actually a paid art piece because it's along this actual path. You know, it's part of the riverfront park thing. Another thing that will improve your photography dramatically, especially if you're shooting street or if you're trying to catch events, maybe you're shooting soccer games with your kids, or you know, you just happen to be at like the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival and you want to get photos of the cars going by on the racetrack. Don't take a photo and then immediately look at it to see if you like it. Take all your photos, and then when there's a genuine lull in the activity, maybe scrub through them then, look through them at that point and see if there's, you know, certain ones that you want to discard or what have you. I don't mind the in-camera deletion. It's not a big deal to me, so I do it. I thin out the herd. That way when I get home, I've already done some of the basic culling. Because a lot of times you'll take a series of photos wanting one good one, And you can look at them on the camera and see, you know, if the guy's like, you don't want that crap, you delete it. But I don't try to chimp while I'm in the moment shooting. I'll try to wait until there's a genuine lull in the activity. Here I'm actually under the interstate right now. But I'm gonna get a photo of this rosemary sign and probably a couple of those street graffitis behind it by holding the camera over the fence if I can reach high enough. That looks like an 8-foot chain link fence. I mean, I see how they accessed it. It's easy enough. They just walk down the railroad from the crossing, but I'm not interested in doing that. Watch your histogram. I don't know if you can see it on here. I've got the histogram enabled on my camera. You got to watch the histogram. You can't really watch the display. I think you can go into settings and you can set the display brightness to like match the exposure. But the auto display brightness is a big help at times when you're trying to compose a shot and you've got your aperture stopped down. It'll brighten the display up and you can kind of see what you're doing. And whew, that's pretty steep little grade. Snuck up on me, got me a little winded. Watch your histogram and you'll see your exposure. I try to run auto exposure more or less. Currently I'm running aperture priority. I will run manual mode at times, but I like to run aperture priority and the camera does a little bit of the thinking for me, and then I'll run exposure compensating if I need to brighten or darken the shadows or whatever for the look I'm trying to get. We're on top of that tailings pile. Here's a little history lesson. Right over there is the interstate, all right? And if you'll notice, that goes down grade. That's that slope I just walked up. This is a hillside. This entire hill, all through there, all the way down to there, runs off down to the water's edge. And then back over here, it runs this way for probably the better part of a half a mile if I'm right. It's a good ways. It's all sand from the US pipe foundry operation for decades. And I mean, literally, probably the better part of 100 years. They did foundry work right over there, right across the interstate. Created this artificial hill right beside the river, because the river's right off the bottom of this down here. Yeah, I can see the water over there now. But I just realized this is the first time I've ever actually been on the hill. I'm running full matrix metering because I'm outdoors. So I'm trying not to blow my highlights. And with matrix on a Nikon, it'll watch your highlights for you. That way I don't have to think about that as much and I can focus more on getting my photos. This is an interesting art piece. Let me get a picture of this. Here comes a jogger up the road. I'll see if I can't get a photo of the jogger too. All right. Right over there across the river, if you can tell, is the Chattanooga Police Firearms Training Center. That's where they do all their SWAT training. It's got their pistol range and all that jazz on it. There's a finger of dirt, okay? The Tennessee River comes this way and then loops around in front of Lookout Mountain and goes back in front of Elder Mountain. And it creates this long peninsula of land that is cut off from everything else in this area because of the geography. And so there's a ridge line right through there on that piece of land. Well, they've come on this side of the ridge beside the river and they've built their training area. And what you're seeing, all this, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can. There's debris and stuff all out through here. And what those are target stands where they shoot at distance. I think they've got 500 or 600 yards for rifle range practice for their snipers and all that. And they've got all these artificial structures built for entry training and things like that for the SWAT team. I could hear a dog barking over there just now. So they're over there training K9 units to do something. But yeah, it's all cut off from the downtown area, but it's pretty close. They can be back in downtown Chattanooga in probably 10 minutes from that position. They just run right back up the peninsula, across, come down into the town. Yeah, I can hear dogs barking. They're over playing with them, doing something. Remember how I said this hill was built out of sand tailings from the casting system? As you can see, there's casting plugs. That's what these big hunks of rock are. They're not stones, they're drops out of the casting process. As you can see they have shape to them. That's the inside profiles of pipe fittings, huge cast iron pipe fittings. And there's a bunch of them at the foot of this hill. And up through there, it's all black sand. You can tell it's casting sand. But yeah, they're all down through here. What you're seeing over there is, I think it's called a hammer mill. It's a huge metal grinder. And what you got these yellow track hose doing is putting basically whole cars on that conveyor that have been squished flat as they'll go. And they're going up and they're dropping into that thing where that steam's coming out. And it's just crushing them to a little chaff. It goes through that processing building, and I'm assuming they're sorting the metal from the plastic and foam and, you know, rubber and stuff like that. It comes out of the building over here and it's sorted into two piles. One is metal shred, as they nickname it, and the other one is the waste for the landfill. They're grinding whole cars. I mean, the GoPro's probably not really showing it, but it's very evident to me what's happening. The conveyor is having to stop to let it clear the grind, then it takes off again. That was a car, probably engine block differential, something big and heavy and steel. It's a big, massive operation. It's been here for, I don't know, ever since I can remember. They've done that at the river. Ground up metal. I mean, you could bring up scrap cars or refrigerators or just whatever. If it was scrap steel, they'll take it here and pay you so many cents on the pound for it, and then you go over and dump it out, and they take and run it through that grinder and make little bitty pieces out of it. There goes another car. It's interesting. It's like it's hidden from view. You don't know it's there. It's one of them things, if you don't know it's there, you never realize that they do this. But yeah, it's a hidden side of Chattanooga. All right, another thing I want to talk about is my settings. I've actually been asked, not many times, but a couple times I've been asked why I don't show settings with my photos when I show photo strings or whatever in my videos. And I'm one of the photographers of the belief that my settings don't affect your photography. For lack of a better definition, I really believe that each person will develop their own style and set their camera up to suit them. Now, I will start including some settings on some of the shots in my videos because people seem to enjoy seeing that information. Oops, sorry. And I'll start including that as part of the video. I'll make a template or something where I can just drop that data in there. I deliberately don't go to the trouble of adding them because, like I said, most of the time, it doesn't really help you with your photography. It just shows you how I shot my photography. But that's why I haven't been showing my settings in my videos, is honestly, I didn't think it really mattered that much to you guys. But I'll start including it some, and if you guys want to see the settings for all the shots like Phil does in his videos, I don't mind adding them. It's not a big job. You can just stick it down at the bottom pretty easy. So let me know if you enjoy the settings information stream. I'll add it in. But I really didn't realize you guys wanted it, just to be honest with you. Let's go on. Oh yeah, just to let you know, up till just a couple of frames ago, I've been shooting at f1.8, and I just now stopped it down to f5.6. I'm running aperture priority, so the shutter speed is set automatically by the camera, and my current ISO value is 100. I normally try to run about 640 on my ISO because that will allow me to have a fast shutter speed, or I can actually slow it down, but it'll keep it fast enough that I don't get blur, because if I'm doing street, I don't typically want blurry photos. And by setting my base ISO at about 640 or 800, then I can eliminate blur almost entirely. But today it's bright enough, with the cloud cover being thin, you can kind of tell the sun's peeking through it occasionally. I've got it down on 100 and it's still giving me shutter speeds. Like right now, this one's a 1/2000th, 1/640th, 1/1000th. You know, So right now, that's what I'm setting on, is f5.6, ISO 100. Shutter speed's automatically set because I'm at aperture priority. Took a chance, just photographed a jogger running down the trail here, and I waited for him to frame inside the boom of that excavator, and I got the shot. Check it out. That's pretty cool, ain't it? He's actually completely airborne in the photo. He's got both feet off the ground, so he's legit running. That was a spur of the moment thing. I seen him coming down the trail. I basically set a focus trap and focused on the side of the pathway and just waited on him to run in front of the boom and then just grabbed the photo. But that one actually worked out. A lot of times those are blurry or something, or he's out of focus so bad you can't tell. But yeah, that was pretty neat. Hey, all right. Well, I just got the photo of the jogger, and I done that with a focus trap. So I focused on the pole that's beside where he's at in the frame, and I made my composition up, and I waited on him to walk in the frame. The last tip I've got is don't obsess over absolutely perfect focus. If you obsess over focus, you'll never get a good photo. Well, I should revise that statement. If you obsess over focus, you'll get perfectly in focus photos, but they'll usually be pretty boring because you're worried more about your focus than you are your composition or your light or whatever. If the focus is close, people will still enjoy the photo. That's what I have learned. Focus doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's close enough that you can tell the story that you're trying to tell. All right, well, one other thing you can do to make you more familiar with the controls on your camera, and that's to get out and use it. So with that, I appreciate you guys watching and following along as I walk down this new stretch of the Riverwalk, which actually has gotten up here to where these townhouses are, learning a little more about the Nikon Z6 and this 85mm. It takes phenomenal photos, as would be expected. At the end of the day, if you want to learn how to be more effective with your photography, basically get your camera out and go shoot with it. That way you'll learn the controls, you'll learn the limitations of your lens, you'll learn everything about it. The more familiar you are with your camera, the more effective you'll be with it. And with that, I appreciate you watching. Until next time, get your camera out, go take a picture with it. All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.